Now at 6, a prayer vigil is planned for the mother and daughter who were killed during a standoff at a Baxter Springs home on Saturday. Plus, how the local trucking industry is dealing with soaring gas prices. And Webb City voters will decide whether to pass an $11 million bond for school improvements.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The 4 states community plans to come together tonight to mourn the loss of a 2-year-old girl and her mother. This is KOAM News at 6. Authorities say 27-year-old Taylor Shute and her 2-year-old daughter, Ceci Crawford, were killed Saturday evening during a standoff in a Baxter Springs, Kansas home. Police say 37-year-old Eli Crawford shot the mother outside the home when officers arrived, then went back inside with their daughter. Crawford then started shooting at officers, who eventually returned fire. When officers entered the home, they found Eli Crawford and the child dead inside. A prayer vigil for Shute and her daughter will take place at 7:30 tonight at Joplin's Mercy Park Pavilion. All members of the public are allowed to attend. Americans everywhere are feeling the pinch at the pump as fuel prices continue to rise. The trucking industry in particular is feeling the effects. KOAM's Jalen Banks has more on how Joplin's very own CFI is navigating the challenges.
Fuel prices continue to rise across the country. Every consumer and industry is feeling the effects of it. CFI is a Joplin-based trucking company with a fleet of nearly 4,000 trucks. And with diesel prices reaching a national average of over $5 a gallon, the costs are adding up.
Yeah, it definitely is impacting all consumers at this point in time. Being a large trucking company with nearly 3,700 trucks in our fleet today, we do feel the impacts. The good and the bad of it is we do have fuel surcharge programs in play to help offset those expenses.
Fuel surcharges are fees that companies will charge to cover the fluctuating cost of fuel. They are using other tactics to try to navigate through the high fuel prices, such as adjusting their routes, keeping idle time on trucks down, and most recently making a purchase that'll help not only their pockets, but the environment as well.
We are purchasing 750 new tractors this year, and with that, those tractors are supposed to get about 1 to 2/10 of a mile per gallon better than our existing equipment. And when you think about that in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have that over 3,700 tractors, that tends to add up dramatically.
Greg says that another thing that they are doing during this time is reinforcing drivers, telling them that they are vital to the success of the company and, by and large, the economy. At CFI in Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
The American Trucking Association says more than 70% of freight is transported via trucks. Nice weather to at least start the work week. Let's check in with Nick Kelly.
And temperatures aren't bad either, Dal. We had to start off on a cool note with lower 40s this morning, but thanks to mostly sunny skies, which we're still seeing plenty of, at 6:03 from 7th and Range Line, we push into the upper 60s to near 70 this afternoon. Staying quiet, that's going to be the going rule as we go throughout the rest of the evening and night, but the southeast wind will continue to pick up as not only our warm front approaches from the southwest, which will push us into 70s tomorrow, by the way, but we're also watching our next cold front out west. That's the one that'll bring in our next chance for storms that could be strong to severe, but that's not in the cards for us this evening. We have 60s and lower 70s on the board right now, but with the southeast wind in place and almost picking up at 10 to 20 later on tonight, we're not going to see a big drop in temperatures. We'll fall from the 60s this evening. Most of us around dropping up around 53, let's say a little cooler northeast, a little warmer southwest, but we'll break down when we'll see severe thunderstorm chances pick up on our Tuesday. It's an alert day, Dow, so we'll break that down for everybody here in a bit.
See you then. The Webb City R7 School District is asking voters to approve an $11 million school bond. The bond would fund improvements at the high school, including renovations of science classrooms, construction of a virtual learning lab and a new family and consumer sciences classroom, and renovations of the Cardinal Theater. It would also fund the construction of an ADA-compliant outdoor space for PE classes at the middle school.
Actually, they're in the junior high right now, so consecutively it's coming our way. Now, I can tell you that the classes that are coming up are very similar in those class sizes, and we already know that we have housing being developed in the district right now that is going to continue to add to that.
If approved, the district's current tax levy would stay the same. This bond will be decided next week on April 5th. Pittsburgh Community Child Care Learning Center is celebrating 50 years of educating kids. The care center offers child care for kids between 1-year-old and kindergarten. Today, they hosted an event for community members and former students and families to look back on all of the center's history. Officials say the center was the first child care center in Pittsburgh.
I'm hoping to leave the daycare in a good place when I retire in the future, and I don't know if we'll expand or not, but I think the 44 is a nice size. We know all the parents, and it's just a nice size.
It's located at 502 East 20th Street in Pittsburgh. Coming up, a local women's shelter hosts an online fundraiser to support the women in their care. Plus, a Missouri family is mourning after a teen dies while riding an amusement park ride in Florida. The Safe House Crisis Center in Pittsburgh is hosting their 11th annual Bags to Riches online fundraiser. Items up for auction include purses, jewelry, and signed Chiefs memorabilia. Also, pictures of local dogs are on their website, and you can vote for your favorite. All proceeds from the fundraiser will support the women in the shelter.
Because knowing we've got that support behind us from our community and, strangers that we've never met, but they're supporting us and the victims we serve, it's incredible.
The auction starts today and runs through April 5th. You can find a link to the auction on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Trustees who oversee the Kansas Public Employee Retirement System have voted to halt future investments in Russian assets because of that country's invasion of Ukraine. While some board members initially pushed for a full divestment, others said they would rather focus on the future and noted the fund's current holdings in the country have been largely liquidated anyway. Kansas had $36 million invested in Russian equities as of February 25th. That accounts for about 0.14% of the pension fund's total investments. A family in Missouri is mourning after a teenager from St. Louis County died after falling from a drop tower amusement ride that was at the Icon Park Entertainment Complex in Orlando, Florida last week. The family of 14-year-old Tyree Sampson is heartbroken, remembering a young man they say had a very bright future. Robert Townsend reports.
It's still the worst day of my life. It ain't gonna stop.
Tears fill his eyes. He's seemingly at a loss for words.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yarnell Sampson says he's living a nightmare that shattered his world.
I want to know what happened to my son.
His 14-year-old son, Tyree Sampson, died after falling from a ride at an amusement park in Orlando Thursday night.
He changed my life. Gave me something to live for. That was the best thing God could have gave me.
He says at just 8 years old, his son, everyone called Big Tick, fell in love with football. Tyree later excelled on the field and in the classroom.
He was doing his training videos. He started working out.
The 6'5", 325-pound 8th grader was a straight-A student and looking forward to playing football for East St. Louis High School in the fall. Tyree also played for Bad Boys, a nationally ranked youth football program based out of St. Louis.
He was a very good, charismatic young man. His friends will tell you, family will tell you, anybody involved with a young man he touched.
I call him a gentle giant.
Their gentle giant who dreamed of perhaps becoming a professional football player.
And I think he was the next big thing coming out of St. Louis.
Gone too soon.
Well, he was big in body, but in his heart, he was just still a kid.
And I just appreciate I had him as my son. I wish I was here to tell him I love him.
Authorities are investigating the death. Right now, they say it appears to have been a tragic accident. Police say it isn't yet clear exactly how Sampson fell from his seat. A little bit later, a Cardinals baseball icon is signing a new deal with St. Louis after more than a decade away.
But first, we're dry for tonight, warm for tomorrow, but watching strong to severe storm chances eager to return. Forecast next. Even though we all had to head back to work today, and for the kiddos after spring break, we had to head back to school today, at least Mother Nature gave us a pretty good day to kick off the new work week and school week. We have still mostly sunny skies from our Landers Shafi Cadillac camera. Looking from the southeast side of Joplin, traffic doesn't look bad either, as the right side of the traffic approaching 49 before you can head south down to Fort Smith and Bentonville, Arkansas. In the short term, this is what I'm really going to focus on. We're going to focus on, first and foremost, dry for much of Tuesday and warmer temperatures, at least mid, if not upper 70s for tomorrow, before we go into the alert day part of the forecast. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, that's when strong and severe storms will come into play. And then once we get beyond that, a few week ways to watch, certainly as we approach the coming weekend. But in the short term, no threatening weather whatsoever. Mostly sunny skies from 7th and Range Line. Sitting at 68 at the airport and downtown. Southeast wind at 11, gusting near 20, and the humidity not too terrible right now, sitting at about 30%. That southeast wind has allowed us all to go from the 40s this morning to about the upper 60s to lower 70s this afternoon. We're seeing some lower 70s southwest of Joplin, cooler temperatures to the northeast. But these numbers won't drop off very much because of that southeast wind still in place, sustained between 10 and 20, some gusts trying to push a little higher than that. But with this part of the forecast, we're only going to drop back through the 60s down to the mid 50s by midnight. Let's say around 53 in Joplin. Again, cooler to the northeast, a little warmer to the southwest of town. Let's look at the weather setup because it's undergoing yet another change. Nothing really happening right now, but high pressure over Michigan and this advancing warm front, that's contributing to our southeast breeze this evening. But that cold front out to the west and the upper low coming ashore of the California coast. That's what's going to drive our next best shot for thunderstorms, and they could certainly pack a punch with a low severe threat clipping almost the entire region right up until Missouri 39 in our far eastern counties. I'm thinking the best timing for any strong and severe storms as early as 8 o'clock Tuesday evening until 5 a.m. Wednesday. Mainly high wind, heavy rain, maybe some hail being the main threats. Tornado threat not zero, but with the setup we have to look to, that's looking fairly low, which is what we'll still keep an eye on though. Thankfully, as we go throughout the course of the night, we stay dry, even though the cloud cover will be on the increase. Again, around 53 for Joplin in the morning, a little cooler northeast, a little warmer southwest, but everybody turns quite a bit warmer tomorrow as that south breeze really kicks into gear thanks to that passing warm front just to the southwest. In fact, we'll go 53 in the morning, 67 by noon. Highs at least near 75 in Joplin, but I would not be surprised at all if we had some upper 70s, certainly to the west of Joplin. But here's 8 o'clock. We'll watch for the advancing front to try to fire off some thunderstorms out west. But as the thunderstorm chances ramp up over us tomorrow night and Wednesday morning, we're going to have to deal with mainly more of a line, which could mean primarily a high wind threat, not to mention plenty of rainfall before temperatures take a tumble throughout Wednesday. So with the night batch of rain, anywhere from half an inch to almost 2 inches of rain alone, then we got to deal with dropping temperatures after early afternoon highs of 64 on Wednesday. In fact, we'll drop into the 40s for the rest of Wednesday afternoon. A few showers possible Thursday and late Friday night, early Saturday morning, but most of the weekend Dallas thankfully looking dry, chilly to mild at times, but certainly not terrible numbers.
It is spring in the 4 states. That means thunderstorm, that means rain, that means occasional sunshine as well.
All the above.
Thanks, Nick. The cold weather rule is coming to an end this week in Kansas and Missouri. Starting Friday, April 1st, any residents who are behind on electric and natural gas utility bills could be subject to disconnection of service. The cold weather rule goes into effect in several states from November 1st through March 31st. It's designed to prevent utility shutoffs during the coldest parts of the year. Oklahoma's policy doesn't have a set time frame. In the Sooner State, utility companies cannot disconnect customers if temperatures are 32 degrees or below during the day or 20 or below at night, or if the predicted heat index is 101 degrees or greater. Still ahead, a familiar face returns this season for the St. Louis Cardinals, and it's opening day for Galena High School baseball. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
Today is opening day for the Galena High School baseball team. The Bulldogs open the season at home today, facing Independence. Now, Galena looking to get off on the right foot before hitting the road for the first time tomorrow night. The Indy strikes first. Ryan Leiker hammers it to center. Great effort out there, but it does get by. Davis Merrick scores. Independence gets 2 in the top of the first. In the bottom half, leadoff man Brett Sarwinski goes opposite field with 2 strikes. Double for Sarwinski. He would score a few minutes later on a passed ball. It's 2-2 after 1. Then both pitchers go to work. Kenyon Martin. Nice move here. Throw to Sarwinski to pick the runner off at second. Then in the bottom half, Ryan Leiker on the mound for Independence. Strikes out the side. This game actually still going. Independence leads Galena 8-5 in the bottom of the 5th. Tonight, also opening night for the Frontenac Raiders. Frontenac coming off a regional championship and a 3rd place finish at state. On the road in an interstate battle with Nevada. That one's in the bottom of the 5th. Raiders lead it 1-0. We'll have highlights from this one right here tonight at 10. The Kansas Jayhawks are back in the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. The Jayhawks beat Miami last night in the Elite 8 to return to the national semifinals for the first time since 2018. Kansas got off to a bit of a slow start last night, trailing 35-29 at halftime. But the second half, they were on fire, man. KU outscored Miami 47-15 in the final 20 minutes, winning 76-50. And they had 3 guys in double figures, led by Ochai Agbaji, who scored 18, going 8 for 12 from the floor.
I'm just proud of my team. I'm just proud of obviously Coach Self, and it's great for the program and the university. But we're not done yet, and I'm not satisfied yet with this. And I know my teammates aren't either.
First half, there weren't as many opportunities to run because we took the ball out of bounds too often off makes. In the second half, I don't know what it was, but we controlled the defensive glass and their shooting percentage went down, so there were more opportunities to run off misses, and we did get out and run very well the second half.
Well, Albert Pujols is coming back to St. Louis. Sunday night, the 42-year-old Pujols agreed to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with the Cardinals. And Pujols previously played for the Cardinals from 2001 to 2011. In those 11 seasons, he hit 445 of his 679 career home runs and helped the team win 2 World Series titles. Now, he spent most of the last 10 years with the Angels before being released and signed by the Dodgers in the middle of last season. Pujols is a 10-time All-Star and a 3-time league MVP. Now, Pujols actually already with the team for their spring training game today against Houston. First inning here, Michael Brantley hammers a solo shot off Adam Wainwright. 1-0 Astros. Wainwright settles in after that strikeout here. Wainwright, 5 innings, gives up 2 earned with 3 strikeouts. But in the 4th, Jordan Alvarez, solo homer of his own. Not a lot of offense today, but the Astros win it 2-1. The Kansas City Royals also on the field today with a spring training matchup against Cleveland. Look at this. The Royals are up 19-5 in the 8th. Andrew Benintendi is 2 for 5 on the day with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
We take time now to honor a local veteran. Bill Arnold joined the U.S. Navy in 1946. The Carthage, Missouri native was stationed in Guam and the South Pacific, and we salute Seaman First Class Bill Arnold, a 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. President Biden releases his 2023 budget and its blueprint for his plans to raise taxes on billionaires. Also, the Academy responds to Will Smith slapping comedian Chris Rock during the award show last night. And a woman in Britain breaks the world record for most chicken McNuggets eaten in a minute. I hope she's okay. That and more tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Makes my stomach hurt just like thinking about it.
She did it. Yeah, you're going to learn a lot more about that at 9. The weather nice at the moment, rain coming though.
Yeah, we're dry for tonight and for much of tomorrow. Warmer too with highs for 75. It won't be until tomorrow night and Wednesday morning. That's going to be our next best shot for strong, even severe storms.
Final sports note.
I told you KU's moving on to the Final Four. It's KU, Villanova, and then on the other side, Duke, Carolina.
Great matchups. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is